Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Shahid Iqbal. I am a PhD student at National Chiao Tung University, Taiwan. Today, the topic of my talk is QoS TCP, provide consistent rate guarantees to TCP flows in software-defined networks. This work has been co-authored with my advisor, Dr. Chien Chen, and my colleague, Hao Chuan Fan. The outline of my presentation is first is the introduction, then I'll explain the QoS TCP mechanism, then there are evaluation and results, and finally the conclusion. OpenFlow 1.3 introduced the rate limiter or QoS mechanism as a meter table, which is associated with the flows and the meter bands, something like the flow rate depends upon the flow rate. Different flow rates have different actions, like actions are limited to drop and the SCPA remark. Suppose we are using a rate limiter QoS as a 10 megabits per second, and we are pumping in the packet or pumping in the data at 11 megabits per second. So the rate limiter QoS will allow only 10 megabits per second, and it will drop the traffic beyond 10 megabits per second. As we can see that SDN rate limiter forces the flow rate by dropping the packets. So when there is a packet drop over time, the TCP congestion control mechanism reacts to the packet dropping by reducing its window size to half, and we can see that there is a throughput oscillations over time. This means that there is inefficient use of bandwidth, and this work has already been done by Pimon and others. Applications like voice over IP, they require the QoS bandwidth guarantees for end user. So and the congestion control mechanism in TCP with the rate limiter QoS, it may cause inefficient bandwidth utilization. So our goal is to develop a QoS TCP to provide consistent rate guarantees without dropping the packet. So it is done by like we notify the TCP sender to slow down before it reaches the maximum rate, after which the rate limiter starts dropping the packet. So what sender does, sender just reduces its window size. Instead of reducing its window size to half, it reduces window size to some ratio, and we can verify the results quickly using the P4 programmable switch. There are two main ideas of the QoS TCP mechanism. The first one is to avoid the packet drop at the switch side, and the second thing to avoid the bandwidth oscillations at the sender side. So the first one, avoid the packet drop at the switch side, we use something like explicit congestion notification and something like 283 color marker meter. What happens here, the bits are marked in the packets to notify the sender before the flow rate reaches its threshold value, and the sender, as we use the sender needs to slow down to avoid the packet drop beyond the threshold value. And to avoid the bandwidth oscillation at the sender size, we use something like a data center TCP to react to the marked packets ratio with proportional window adjustments, such as instead of reducing the windows to half, we reduce the congestion window up to some fraction of marked packets. So the QoS TCP mechanism have a QoS TCP algorithm and the QoS TCP analysis. The QoS TCP algorithm have two portions. The first one has to act on the switch side, and the second, it has to act on the host side. So on the switch side, we use meters to measure the flow rate with two threshold values as MTR, we call it marking threshold rate, and PTR is the peak threshold rate. And then we mark a rate limit notification in bits when the flow rate is over MTR, and we drop the packets when the flow rate is beyond the PTR. So at the host side, we do window adjustment like data center TCP to react to the markings. So when a sender is sending the packets, the flow rate is up to MTR, there is no operation performed. When the flow rate goes beyond MTR but it's less than PTR, the switch starts RLN marking, and then when the flow rate is beyond the PTR, the switch starts dropping the packets. And when the switch marks the packet, these are sent to the receiver side, and then the receiving side applies back uh, to the QSTCP sender, and the QSTCP and the sender adjusts the congestion window according to the ratio of marked packets. In order to set the values of MTR and PTR which satisfy the QoS bandwidth demand, we consider two cases for analysis, the maximum rate case and average rate case. And we assume that the TCP has reached its steady state and that is TCP flow rate is less than the link capacity, and MTU and RTD are non-constants, and there is enough bus size buffer. So as we have two cases, in the first case, maximum rate, the maximum window size reaches the maximum rate. And however, some applications may require QoS average rate, which is guaranteed at B. So given the average rate B, we did analysis to see what values of MTR and PTR we need to set in order to satisfy the QoS requirement, like there is no packet drop. And here our objective is to solve this rate B. So we say that we have to solve W. In maximum rate case, we can see that we start marking packets at the time W star -1. So the packet during this RTT will also be marked. So we can say that the total number of packets sent during this RTT multiplied with the maximum transmitting unit MTU, and we divide it with RTT, we will get the bandwidth. Okay, and similarly while we say that about MTR, we can say that now let's consider we start marking packet at W star -1. So at the time W star up to W star +1, we say that this is one round trip time. So during this round trip time, the packets are also marked. So we can say that the number of packets marked during this RTT multiplied with MTU, we get the average bandwidth. So similarly, for W star -1, we multiply with MTU and divide by RTT, we get the MTR. We need two equations to get the W star and alpha in average rate case. The average rate B, the first thing is average rate B is equal to the integral of this trapezoid divided by the cycle time, and the second equation becomes a marking marking ratio alpha equals to the packets marked in a single RTT divided by the whole trapezoid. So we combine the equation 1 and equation 2 to get the value of W star, and the evaluation is done something like this. For fast implementation, we modify the existing mechanism to evaluate the QSTCP performance using the P4 switches. We used 2-rate 3-color marker meter to measure the flow rate, where we set MTR equal to CIR and PTR equal to PIR. We marked ECN bits when the flow rate is over MTR, and we used the data center TCP at the end host to enable it to react to ECN marking to adjust the window size. So our experimental setting are something like this. We use the Mininet as an emulator to set up this experiment. We used the P4 switch, BMV2 P4 switch, and we use this number topology. And we set some matrices like throughput, the packet drop, the congestion window, and the average throughput. And all the experiments have run. All the traffic is generated by the iPerf. So we did a comparison for the QSTCP with the TCP cubic in maximum rate case. So as I already told that we have some fixed constants like MTU. Here we set the MTU as 1500 bytes and round trip time 20 milliseconds. So, and experiments we run the experiments on the maximum of 10 megabits per second. So our PTR is 10 megabits per second, and in order to calculate, we calculated the W star by using these values as 15.67. So the MTR is calculated, which is equal to 8.8 megabits per second. And here we can see that the red lines, the red dots represent the TCP cubic, and the blue line represents the QoS TCP. So we can see that the throughput over time in cubic is fluctuating, but in terms of QoS TCP, it's a little bit fluctuating, but it's very better than the TCP cubic. And in terms of number of packets drop, the TCP cubic have a lot of packets drop for the 30 seconds, but the QoS TCP in all the 30 seconds there is 0 packet drop, and the congestion window at the center side for the cubic is fluctuating a lot, but for the QoS TCP it's almost steady. Here we did some analysis. We fixed the round trip time as 20 milliseconds and MTU as 1.5 kilobytes. And here we have a variable bandwidth from several kilobits per second to 40 megabit per second. And the K is the ratio of MTR and PTR. And we try to confirm that what we calculated with for our theoretical results is as similar as our experimental results we achieved. We have K over bandwidth, and then we fix the bandwidth and the MTU, but we set the variable round trip time. So then we have the K over RDT is almost similar as our theoretical results, and then we fix the bandwidth and we fix the round trip time, and we try to adjust the MTU. And here we can see that our results are almost equal to as we expected in our theoretical results, but in all the cases our average throughput is below 100%. We couldn't achieve the throughput at exact 100%. So then the analysis for here our QoS-TCP and the TCP cubic in average rate case. So it's a similar. The MTU is fixed, RTT is fixed. The PTR here is 10.26, as we are here talking about the average rate case. So the W star here becomes 16.1, and the alpha of the is 0.102, and MTR is around 9.03 megabits per second. So similarly, as I explained earlier in the maximum rate case, in average rate case, we have similar results. Like we have better throughput over time. We have very low fluctuation in congestion window over time, and we have 0 number of packets drop over a span of 30 seconds. And here we also did some analysis. We fixed the bandwidth. We fixed the round trip time. We fixed the MTU as 1500 bytes, and we set the bandwidth as a variable from several kilobits per second to up to 40 megabits per second. And our theoretical and our experimental results were similar in terms of bandwidth and in terms of round trip time. So here the bandwidth we almost reached up to 100% bandwidth in and finally The conclusion of this presentation of this talk is we propose a QoS TCP to solve the traditional TCP efficient bandwidth utilization and